And we're back on Corvette Nation. 40 years ago, a bright young man named Mike Yager had an idea, a very good idea. And in the ensuing years, the business success of Mid-America Motorworks enabled Mike to assemble a collection of Corvettes that represent some of the rarest, most historically significant cars to be found under the Corvette brand. Located on the sprawling campus headquarters of Mid-America Motorworks in Effingham, Illinois, the Mike Yager Corvette collection and garage is home to an eclectic display of all things Corvette. From standalone engines to hundreds of Corvette models, from memorabilia to neon signs, it's all here. Not to mention an extended double row of spectacularly historic Corvettes with significant racing and prototype heritage. And it all started quite simply enough.
Youngest of 9 children, rock musician in high school, not a particularly serious student. When I got out of high school, I spent 6 years as an apprentice tool and die maker. And in that time, not that I would remember exactly, but it was September 15th of 1970, I bought my first Corvette, a 1967.
That first Corvette cemented an idea that the young entrepreneur Yager had, and he acted on it by borrowing $500.
I bought some owner's manuals from Helm, a current supplier to Mid-America. I bought some patches. I bought t-shirts. We put iron-on transfers that said Killer Vet, what else? And patches and shirts, and that's kind of what started it.
It may be a tired old saying, but the rest truly is history. 40 years later, Mid-America Motorworks ships hundreds and hundreds of different Corvette-related items all over the world. The headquarters site hosts the annual Corvette Fun Fest for thousands of Corvette owners and enthusiasts. Mike Yager has literally written the Bible on Corvette history, and a case could easily be made that Mike Yager came by his interest in Corvettes in an unsurprising way.
I have 6 older brothers, and 5 of the 6 owned Corvettes before I did, and being the baby and spoiled, I swore revenge. I was going to have more than my older brothers.
Well, if revenge is sweet, Mike Yager has found the sugar bowl. His immensely valuable collection of Corvettes is an historian's and enthusiast's dream. Among his favorites, a candy apple red 64 coupe that is commonly known as the World's Fair Corvette. One of the stars of the GM Pavilion when it opened at the New York World's Fair in April of 1964, this one-off Corvette was modified at GM's Tech Center to impress the 51 million people who attended the fair that year. It sports a 16-coat arm-deep paint job, as well as other unique styling cues. An opening in the hood displays the top of the fuel injection unit. 6 taillights, rather than the standard 4, adorn the rear of the car. And the eye is automatically drawn to the unique and functional stainless steel side pipes that further distinguish this extremely rare Corvette.
My first serious Corvette, really serious collector, was Serve 1. It is the hallmark, top-of-the-line Corvette. Doesn't get any better than that. It's Chevrolet through and through. It's Zora Duntov.
Conceived by Zora Duntov, Serve 1, an acronym for Chevrolet Engineering Research Vehicle, was a platform for Chevrolet engineers and their studies on ride and performance.
You know, when that car was for sale, it's set out there in the marketplace, and one day a good friend and I just said, you know, why isn't someone buying it? So I talked with our accountant saying, should I do it? And you know what accountants say. So I did 180. I did buy the car. I've never looked back. I mean, that was just such a tremendous car. It's part of Chevrolet's history. It's a great part of Corvette history.
Another historic Corvette in the Yager collection, currently awaiting the final dressing of a full restoration, is the XP 819.
That was Chevrolet's first attempt at getting into rear-engine Corvettes. Frank Winchell was a chief engineer at Chevrolet. He was also involved in the Corvair program, so hence the rear-engine side. but Zora was chief engineer at Corvette.
And Zora wasn't particularly fond of the concept, calling it an ugly duckling. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and restorer Kevin McKay, in the coming months, will bring this one-of-a-kind valuable Corvette back to its full original presence.
My collection is centering more and more around race cars and historically significant Corvettes.
That fact becomes even more evident with a Ferrari red 1968 L88 racer in the Yager collection. With a political backstory that saw it squeezed into a previously unavailable slot in the 1972 Le Mans race in France, the Corvette has taken its rightful place in the annals of Corvette racing legend.
It not only ran the race, it finished first in class of the big block cars and 15th overall in 1972, a privateer team, and the car held that record as the highest finishing Corvette from 1972 until General Motors knocked it off of its pedestal in 2000. That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool indeed. An admittedly bucket list acquisition by Yager has most recently capped his spectacular collection. A long-sought-after Corvette GTP race car, one of only 7 built, with 1 in California, 1 in Australia, and 5 in the collection of Charlotte's Rick Hendrick. This turbocharged V6 rocket was actually a forever gift.
Rick just looked at me and said, well, I'll just give you one. He said, I'll send one up for you.
And the only stipulation, Mike can never sell the car. But then, why would he?
It's hard to deny, disguise, or dispute my passion for Corvettes because it's my life.
The pursuit of his passion has given Mike Yager a most impressive collection of historic Corvettes. And the really good news, the collection is open to the public. Consult the Mid-America Motorworks website for specific times. Stay with us now, more Corvette Nation coming up.